My name's Stephen Ugan. I was actually part of the launch outreach for Love Twin Cities, where a bunch of different teams got on the light rail. Might even go by me while we're shooting this video. We took the light rail to the East Bank of the University of Minnesota, had some really good conversations on the train on the way out there. Great conversations when we got to the East Bank as well. The Lord was just leading us to different people. And we were praying, do we stay here in the East Bank or do we go back on the light rail? So we jumped back on, and the first guy we talked to was a guy named Sebastian. Sebastian had a really incredible story. I started to share my story with him, and he said, that's incredible that God revealed himself in that way to you. I used to live in LA. I moved here about a couple years ago. I lived in LA, and he told us this story of how he had been out partying with his friends in LA at a park. And while he was partying with his friends, drinking and doing drugs with his friends at this park, all of a sudden he had an open vision of hell. He literally looks around, and his friends are all covered in demons, and he's in this bottomless pit, and he knew he needed to leave now or he was going to be trapped there. So he grabbed his drugs and his booze. He actually walked away, didn't even talk to anybody, just left the group, threw the drugs and booze away, and from that point on was sober for 2 years. So that encounter was so powerful that he was sobered for 2 years. Then he moved here. Some friends said, hey, move to Minneapolis, it's cool here. He came here, he started to get stressed out a little bit and anxious, and he went back to alcohol to comfort himself. He really didn't have any knowledge of God. He knew God was involved in him getting set free and being delivered, but he didn't have a ton of knowledge of God. And so I started to just minister to him, and he said, it's crazy that you're saying this, because 6 days ago, I tried to quit. I haven't drank for 6 days, so I've been struggling with alcohol for the last 2 years, and I know God is the answer because of the encounter I had in LA, but I just don't know how to go about it. It's like I was literally praying for someone to help me, in the last few days, and then you guys show up. And so I share my testimony with him. I actually got to share with him that I got delivered of demons connected to alcohol. And I said, what you need is deliverance, but you first need to surrender your life to the Lord. So we got off with him at his stop. We skipped our stop because we were talking with him the whole time, got off at his stop, walked around the corner, and then he literally surrendered his life to the Lord, and we ministered deliverance and cast demons out of him. The Holy Spirit came, filled him, and he and I are actually going to come to Truth and Freedom Church, which is a recovery church. We've got a standing meeting this Friday where I'm going to bring him here so he can get connected to community. But I'm telling you, after that encounter, I had so much joy in my heart. I literally was like, how could the church not be out here? How could the church not be on the streets engaging our culture? Literally, people are waiting for the church to roll up on them and say, this is the way back home. That's my story.